Sinafa, take one. Hello, my name is Akinehi Monroe. I am 18 years old and I'm a waitress, but you could say, I guess, I'm an up-and-coming star, rising star. You may also know me as Rangi Marie from Shorten Street. I was with them for about 6 months, I think. It was a pretty intense first experience because it was so fast-paced. It's sort of like waitressing in a way where everything is constantly moving. Everything had to be up to date with Shorten Street. And because it's, you're filming 8 weeks in advance and you can't let any time slip. While I was working on Shorten Street, I also was doing a 2-day sort of short film thing. And now I'm working on a theatre show, which is funny because I've always been a theatre kid. I grew up into that sort of world. My first sort of theatre show was a musical. But now I'm working on The Wolves. It's a theatre show with a company called Silo Company, which I was like shaken back by because in the theatre world, Silo's kind of good. Like they're kind of up there company, So it was pretty cool. I was not expecting to go from theatre to TV to short films and then doing more theatre. The short film I did was called Money Honey. It was basically about a girl. She's like a hustler, she's a tomboy, she has a skater friend, and at the moment his father and him are homeless. They're living in a car, but he hasn't told her. And so there's this whole day of them basically hustling. She was so fun to play. She was so easy to play as well. I just had to be very, very extra me. And I had to dye my hair red. There's quite a few things you have to do as an actor to yourself. I sort of look back at it now, I'm like, wow, I never sort of expected myself to be on TV. I actually just expected myself to be going more into theatre and doing more bigger things with it. Yeah, this was just like a massive step basically. And people say like, oh, is this your big break? But I don't see it as my big break. I don't think I'll ever see anything as my big break. I think a big break would just be me dying, pretty much. Like that's my big break, right? The difference between shooting on camera and theatre, such a big difference I noticed. Because in camera, you're working in a box, literally a box. But with theatre, you're working with everything around you, there's no restrictions. They're working in a box. Basically this is all that matters. This is all that matters, and maybe a few hand movements, You can still move your hands while you're talking, but this is all that matters. So, whereas in theatre, this whole thing matters. Like you have to be alive in everything, your whole body, like your toes, your like ankles, your wrists, you have to be alive in everything. Whereas with television, this can all be still from down, and all this at the top has to be alive. And that's about it. I did for the first weeks sort of struggle with that because I didn't know how to, I've always been told to be bigger and be more bolder, whereas I was coming into an environment and it was like, just do that movement a bit smaller, just a little bit smaller, and I was like, are you sure? I thought I was getting like told off, but I wasn't. I know I wasn't, but that's how it felt. So, in a way I was like, okay, I don't know how to do this small. And it's really hard to go from theatre to television. I think a lot of people don't really know the difference, The roles I've played in the past have been quite physically demanding. I dance as well, so I think dance has really played a big role in helping me sort of do that. I'm already an energetic person, so sort of going into theatre and having all these physical demandments, it was like, yeah, this is fun, but it was also, it does get tiring, your body does start to just go, please, no more. I've gotten to make my own sort of pieces, make my own physical things, and in most of those I'm dancing, or it's dancing about something, so I do really appreciate dance for that. And it's also helped me with waitressing, these trays at work that we have to carry, And it's not just trays usually as well, it's also like massive plates, but the trays require you to, you know, have to walk around like this all the time, and I think I can thank breakdancing for that, or any sort of contemporary dancing for that, because I don't want to flex, no, but my wrists, you know, they're strong, and the reason, I don't want to be like I'm physically strong, but the reason I can, you know, carry these things is because of dance and theatre. In 2017, I had the option of either taking the dance career path or the acting career path. And for me, it was sort of it was the hardest decision I've ever had to make, because I was split. I felt really, actually for the once I felt really split, and I really struggled to make this decision, and I kind of couldn't, no one else is going to help you with those decisions, you know, you have to think for yourself. Am I going to enjoy this in the next few years? Am I going to regret not taking that path? If I carry on with dancing, is that really all I'm gonna want to do, or am I gonna want to do that as well as acting but not able to, because dancing takes up so much of your time, takes up your weekends, it takes up weeks, you know, you go to like comps and stuff. I had the opportunity of almost joining a dance crew, which was crazy to think about it, but I did choose the theatre pathway, and because of that there is a little bit of like, damn, I wish I did at that time join, and then I don't know, it's because you can't really just join something and then go, I don't want to do it anymore, which is a shame, because that's what it's like for actors, you know. But I did choose the acting path, and it did do me well. I'm not regretting it, you know. There's no regret. I think it's not regret, I don't know what to call it, but it's like, I'm just kind of like, damn, you know. I just wish I wasn't a dancer or something like that, because I just wish I'd never had to make that decision. Balancing acting, waitressing, and my life, and basically me, there's a lot of struggles that happen with it, just because there's times where I forget about myself. I'll be taking up so many opportunities here and there, doing so many other things, that I'll forget about how I'm feeling. And so it's funny, because there'll be times where I just sort of like will have a mental breakdown, and I'm like, why? What's happening? I'm like, oh I haven't even checked in with myself in what, a month? That's probably why, you know? The more I think about my life compared to someone else's, it's not normal. Some people go like, man, how can you just, man, you're so busy. I remember my friend messaged me the other night and said, oh, you're busy. And I said, yeah, I'm sorry, because I didn't realize how busy I was. I don't have time. Sometimes I don't have time to hang out with friends. Whenever I do get in these sort of states of like, I'm doing way too much right now, or you know, like, it's like, not like a panic attack, but it's like panicking, you know, you're panicking like, what am I doing? What's happening? There's too much going on, I don't want to do anything. In those moments, I dance, you know, because that's the only thing I sort of think that helps me from being in these stupid kerfuffles in my brain. It's very important to me to have fun, to just enjoy myself, and that's why I do acting and, you know, all this other stuff, is to have fun. But sometimes I'm like, damn, I really need to take care of myself more, because one day I'm just going to go, I don't want to do acting anymore, because I'm going to point fingers at it, you know, and I don't want to do that. It's more, I should be pointing fingers at myself. I need to take care of myself. Next step for me is to just take on every opportunity that comes my way. I always do that anyway, but I think I'd really like to do film, because film's pretty fun. But for now I'm just working on some theatre shows, so my schedule's like taken up. Yeah. I hope to also just I don't know, there's a lot going on in this world. See you now for take one. Action.